Let's start with some slow hip circles. Clockwise at first, and then counterclockwise, slowly really feeling the range of movement through our hips. The knees remain relatively straight. Trying to let the pelvis go in full circles, out front, to the sides, and to the back. All while maintaining steady breathing. Next we'll do some basic arm circles, so keeping the trunk facing relatively forward, taking one arm through a slow circle, keeping it as close to your ear as possible, and then in the opposite direction, and really taking your time through any areas where there are some restrictions or stickiness. Let's do the same thing for the other shoulder. If you feel some joint crepitus, some noises within your shoulder joints, it's okay as long as there's no significant pain. Tightness you can work through, but you don't want to ignore pain, so decrease the intensity if you have any pain. Very good. Now go ahead and swing your arms laterally out by your sides and then back across your midline in front of you. Just a gentle drill to warm up your spine as well as your scapulae. Then shoulder circles going backward, further warming up your shoulder blades or scapulae, and then forward. Next we'll go to the ground, and it's good to have a yoga mat if possible. And we'll do basic cow-cats. So taking the spine through full flexion and full extension. Really being mindful of the movement of your shoulder blades as well. This particular routine was filmed in a hot yoga room, which always helps. If your temperature's a little higher, it helps with any sort of mobility work you're doing. Now also from all fours, we can go ahead and take one arm up at a time while allowing the trunk to rotate along with the head to look up. Just introducing some rotation into the spine. The downside arm can shift to be a little bit more in the middle or right directly below the center of your chest whenever you take the other arm up. And then some cobra to go ahead and work on more extension, alternating with child's pose. With cobra, really feel this through your spine, the extension, and with child's pose, feel this through your shoulders. It's shoulder flexion that you should be feeling right in your armpits. So a good 3 to 5 of each position is a good amount, and hold for longer if it feels good. Great, next we'll go ahead and just be on our shins and knees and ankles and reach back and hold onto our ankles with our hands and gently rock our midsection forward, just inducing a little more extension through the spine. Maintain steady breathing throughout. Now we'll go ahead and just sit back on our pelvis and do some 90-90 work. So legs spread in front, knees bent, and shift both legs over to one side. So you're working on external rotation on one side and internal rotation on the other, just gently going back and forth. As you shift from side to side, you can always let the backside leg lag a little bit to work on good adduction or abduction stretch through the groin area. And then now we'll work on one side at a time. So one side remains relatively stationary, while the other hip goes through this swiveling motion from external to internal rotation. Just go as far as is comfortable for you, and never override or ignore pain. Now we'll do the same thing on the other side. Going through internal rotation and external rotation. Very good. Take some time to take a breath or get some water if you need some. Now we'll go ahead and be on all fours and spread out our thighs as far as is comfortable. So there's some pressure on the knees, and you can put some towels underneath your knees if you need to, and just gently allow your pelvis to pulsate back and forth. Even in just a few inches is enough to really induce some good abduction through the hips, the inner groin area. Now we'll assume a more comfortable all fours position and have our palms down, fingers spread slightly, elbows straight, and gently rock into our wrists to induce good extension through the wrist joints. Go ahead and reverse our hands so that the ventral surfaces of our forearms are facing forward. We're inducing extension through our wrists by rocking backwards slightly with our pelvis. And then the backs of our hands on the ground with our elbows straightened out. And again, pulsating backwards slightly with our pelvis. This is further inducing good flexion into our wrist joints and stretching out the forearm muscles that extend the wrist joint. Next, we'll go ahead and bend our fingers where they meet our palms with the fingers, the pads of our fingers on the ground, so really working on extension of the metacarpal phalangeal joints. Rocking back and forth. Very good for anyone who has arthritis. And then in fists, we want to go ahead and unfold one fist at a time. And then the other side. And then bring our palm back into a fist again, just as you see here. And then we'll do ulnar and radial deviation, or wrist abduction and adduction, with as much of your upper body weight as you can comfortably bear on these joints. Very good. Go ahead and do some wrist circles, just to shake it all out. Do it clockwise, counterclockwise. You can always go to our site and look for wrist mobility exercises done against the wall if you feel that it's too much to do them on the ground. go ahead and also stretch out our fingers, long axis traction, one finger at a time, just a gentle pull out from the palm. Very good. We'll stretch out our hamstrings and our groin area. So one leg is folded and the other one is straightened out to our side, alternating between having our heel dug into the ground and then trying to have the sole of our foot approach the ground. Just lengthening these tissues gently, slowly, and then bending the knee and hugging it with our arms, with the thighs against the chest area, and rocking forward to induce good dorsiflexion, stretching out the Achilles tendon and the soleus and gastrocnemius muscles. Gentle rocking. And then you can use some towels or a sitting pad under the leg that's folded up, if it's helpful, to do the other side. Stretching out the hamstrings as well as the inner groin area. And then again working on dorsiflexion of the ankle joint. Gentle pulsing and stretching out the posterior compartment of the lower leg. We also want to stretch out the front of the ankle area, so just keeping the front of our feet on the ground. We're raising up our knees ever so slightly. You may hear some cracking within your metatarsal joints. That's normal. Stretching out the front of the ankle region and the top of the foot. Very good. Okay, next we'll go into a squat, and you can use a sitting pad or some stacks of towels underneath your pelvis if you wish. The goal is to be in a relatively relaxed position, your elbows tucked along the inner portions of your knees. If you don't need the sitting pad, that's fine. If you find that your ankles are tight and you can't get your heels on the ground, you can use the towels or even a textbook or two underneath your heels to maintain a comfortable position. Folding our hips and our knees and our ankles in this way in a natural squat position is excellent for these joints as well as for optimal flow within our digestive tract. This is the natural human resting position. And while there, you can gently rock and swivel from side to side. Feel what's comfortable, feel which areas may be a little tight, and try to find a position that feels comfortable for you. And once you're there, you can always use your elbows to push out a little bit on your thighs to induce good abduction of your hip joints, and take your neck through some rotation, flexion, extension, just to take a look at it from a side view. Really trying to find a position that feels comfortable, where you could sit there for long stretches if need be. You can start with just a few seconds at a time and try to challenge yourself to hold the squat position for a total of a few minutes every single day, just throughout the day. Next, we'll go ahead and lie back on our side, and we'll use our hands or a towel wrapped around our foot and extend the knee or extend the leg so that we're straightening it out above us, really stretching out the posterior compartments of our leg, so the hamstrings and the upper calf region, and the other side as well. So doing about 5 repetitions on each side. If you're using a towel to strap around your foot, you can use both of your arms and just lie straight back. And then to stretch out the anterior compartment of the thigh, we'll go ahead and tuck the lower leg behind us and just try to relax the thigh as much as possible and feel this through our quadriceps and our hip flexors. Maintaining steady breathing and really trying to bring our knee down to the ground. And the same thing on the other side. When you feel tight, that's when you really want to focus on breathing steadily and mindfully. Very good. Now we'll bring one knee up on the other thigh and let both legs fall over to the side and just feel a good rotation through our spine, our lower spine and pelvis. And then the upside arm we can go ahead and take in slow circles, clockwise and counterclockwise above us. You can even trace your hand along the ground. And we'll do the other side. So one leg up on the other knee, let both legs fall over to the side. Use the downside arm to hold your knee down to some degree, and then take your other arm through slow circles. Turn your head to look the other way if you wish, if you feel that it accentuates a stretch that feels good. Very good. Next we'll go ahead and do unilateral modified bridges. So heels grounded and taking one arm up above us to touch the ground while extending through our spine, alternating from side to side. Very good. Very good. We'll turn over and get some water if you need to, or towel off if you're in a hot yoga room. And next we'll work the posterior capsule of the shoulder joints. So start on your back and have your target arm out to your side, flat on the ground, and roll your body over that arm as far as you can comfortably go, and have your other arm, the upside arm, on the ground above your head. You should feel this in the back of the downside shoulder, and you can rotate that hand back and forth. You should feel this in the posterior deltoid region, and there are some rotator cuff tendons there as well that benefit. Same thing on the other side. Just go as far as you comfortably can and rotate that hand back and forth. Very good. Next we'll go ahead and stretch out the upper shoulder shawl area or the trapezius area, so on all fours, and let the arm shoot through along with your head, and the top and back of your head should be on the ground there. And you'll feel this through that shoulder shawl area. You want to do it on each side. And go back and forth a little bit, feeling it out if you're not used to this. The more you can tuck your head down and in and have the back and top of your head on the ground, the greater the stretch you will feel. Very good. Let's go ahead and consolidate our neck mobility work by doing some simple extension and flexion, right and left rotation, holding each of these positions as long as you would like, trying to keep the core still, the trunk facing forward, and of course, left and right lateral flexion, keeping the shoulders neutral, not letting them hike up. Very good. And then again, if you want to use a sitting pad or some stacks of towels underneath your pelvis, we're going to do a very gentle pancake stretch to end this mobility workout. So legs straight out by our sides as far as is comfortable. And you don't have to use the towels or the sitting pad if you don't want. And gently let your upper body move forward. Arms straight out in front of you. Just feel this through your posterior compartment, through your hamstrings and your groin muscles. Gently swing over to the right side, keeping your core relatively strong and engaged. Lean down toward that leg. Always maintain steady breathing, and just finish off by letting your upper body go forward comfortably. Very well done. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more suggestions on how to improve your mobility and health. And for our most recent self-care suggestions, please use the link here to subscribe to our newsletter. All of this helps us produce more useful content. Thank you and see you again soon.